Come on, baby. Here she comes, boy.
The fishermen of Cornwall. For hundreds of years, they've worked some of the richest fishing grounds in the world.
When you get a nice bag of fish come up, I don't think there's a better feeling in the world, you know.
There's fish! There's fish!
It's a way of life handed down through generations.
I'll be the youngest in the fleet. That's not a bad status to have, is it?
Lovely start to the day, anyway. Woman overboard!
Oh, no!
Now a sea change is coming. The biggest the industry has seen in 50 years.
Fishing is the acid test of Brexit.
Taking back control of our waters, a brighter future beckons.
It was either vote to stay in or vote to get out, wasn't it? Just get out, like.
Beautiful.
What's life really like, living and working in the wild west of Britain?
Can't ask for a better office.
One thing a youngster these days needs is steady money coming in, and fishing doesn't guarantee that.
And what does the future hold for this fishing life?
Bigger the boat, bigger the balls, mate.
I'm in a gambling mood today, yeah.
When you're at sea, fine weather, and there's a bit of fish coming over the rail, there's no better job. There isn't a better job in the world.
Mevagissey is known for its fishing, mostly, and tourism, but then the tourism's here for the fishing. There is a few holiday homes, which you don't mind a few, but we don't want too many as such, because we'd lose our identity, if you know what I mean. But pull it, Jack. Yeah, come on. No, you.
It's February in Mevagissey.
Shall I pull the boat up a bit more, or is it?
Yeah, run.
All the talk is of a new boat joining the fleet, the Anne Louise.
Just get a bit of slack there, might be easier, won't it?
You're in here as well.
26-year-old Jack West is the latest youngster to take on his own boat.
Go on.
Basically, it's a new boat for us. Like, we've just finished fitting it out. You know, getting everything ready and get to sea and earn some money. All right?
Yeah.
It's a huge investment for the West family. They bought the boat from a fisherman in Lowestoft, and they've spent thousands on a refit.
It's all new gear, all new winch, net drums all new, all my bridles, my warps. There's nothing worse getting to sea with worn out stuff. Drop the door!
Dad Nick is helping out.
All right?
Have you done the wheel?
No.
Well, how are you going to steer out then?
We'll just...
Jesus, what?
Jack fished with his dad growing up.
There we are. No.
After skippering on another boat for the last 2 years, the family's decided the time is right to invest in Jack.
All right, let's try that. There we go.
Now the pressure's on to get out to sea and start earning some money back.
Trying to get used to all the electrics, you know, and how the way the autopilot works in here is... Yeah, I'm not sure. Rudder failure, it says, but...
He's always in a rush. Everything he does is in a rush. Yeah, well, he's been off for a while now, hasn't he? So that's why he's keen.
Well, that's... We have to chuck over the side.
The Anne Louise is what they call an otter trawler. A cone-shaped net is dropped to the seabed on the end of 250 metres of cable.
Oh, I need to pick it out because I want to do it myself.
A hydraulic winch is used to lower 2 heavy boards, otter boards, that keep the mouth of the net open.
Make it fast.
It's not going to go, Jack.
Make it fast. Make it fast.
Door.
Make it fast. I never lifted the door up.
Jack had a spell working for his older brother on the family's other boat, but it didn't work out.
He did work for us briefly before, for a while, for about a year. But family being family, he didn't get on with his brother, so that would ended in tears. but he's been away and proved himself since, and he's keen to go on. So we felt the time was right to invest in him and help him along the way a bit.
There's something not right. Yeah.
There's quite a few things need addressing, to be expected with a new boat, you know. He's desperate to go to sea, but we need to address these problems first. As they say, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. As you'll hear that saying quite a lot. Jack gets his bee in his bonnet, and if something goes wrong, then we've all got to stop, and we've all got to jump, and we've all got to fix it for him. Jack's attitude is, I want it all, I want it now. He's like his mother. I want it yesterday.
Dover Solar. First fish.
It's a big gamble. It's been a very stressful time for us all, buying it and getting it all ready.
Mum Jo looks after the family accounts.
You know, we've obviously put in our own money, savings, and pretty well skinned us out, really. Hopefully now it's at sea and Jack does his best that we'll start recouping it back again. The only thing, if God forbid there's a lot of bad luck or bad weather, you know, the bank loan is secured on our house, so that's, you know, that's a big gamble on our part.
The general situation, high pressure centred over Scandinavia, will maintain a very strong and bitterly cold easterly flow today. A deepening depression over
snow warnings for Cornwall as the so-called beast from the east grips Britain.
No one will be going out for a few days. There's some bad weather coming in.
On Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, the icy blast from Russia will trigger freezing temperatures.
Meva is sheltered from the Atlantic weather, but easterlies hit the place head on. Jack's worried about his precious new Anne Louise.
Yeah, the wind direction comes straight in through Meva Harbour. East wind, south-east wind, and circles in around the harbour, so we've got to go check the ropes in the boat, make sure everything's all right. You see they're moving around hellish. Keep snatching forth, they could, you know, could break loose, so. East wind in here is just a no-go for us, so it's terrible, so.
Plummeting. Temperatures are set to feel as low as -13 in parts of Cornwall as the beast from the east grips. Snow warnings are out for tomorrow.
The storm hits. It's a deep depression from Siberia, with gale force easterlies and heavy snow. Almost unheard of down this way.
Storm conditions. Hey? The wall? What? The wall's gone.
Veteran fisherman Malcolm Saunders has come to cast an eye over the damage.
I'm worried about the pots. The pots is the worry.
He was born a few miles outside the village and has spent a lifetime in the pursuit of fish.
This is extreme. We haven't seen this since the 70s. It's even lifted the tarmac. Everything's just been peeled back. That lump of rubbish there is the fuel berth. Nothing left to it. Ha! We survived.
In 50 years at sea, there's not much Malcolm hasn't seen.
I've always known it. When you're at sea, you know it. You know what the strength there is in the sea. You know, you got incredible wind. The energy transfers to the sea, destroys everything in its path.
The beast from the east has cost the region £200 million and counting. While other fishing communities are feeling the pinch, Meva bucks the trend. with 74 working boats in the harbour. There's a rare optimism here. It's protected from the prevailing winds. Fish stocks are beginning to return, and there's a tradition of boats being handed down from father to son. Mevagissey is blessed. Fishing is in the blood here. For more than 250 years, the men of Meva have followed their fathers to sea, eager to honour the family traditions. The next generation of ambitious young skippers is ready to make a go of it. The Galwadi Moor is owned by one of Mevagissey's most successful fishing families, the Blamies. 27-year-old Chris is the fourth generation to work at sea. This year he will take over the responsibility of skippering the boat from his father, Peter.
We're all really proud of our boats and we all want them to look really smart. You earn your livelihood with them and they keep you alive at sea. They're a bit like a part of the family, like, you know.
Unlike most other young skippers, Chris went to university and got a first-class degree.
He's bought a property and he's obviously got a monstrous mortgage, plus he got his student loan to pay off. He went to uni, so yeah, it's given him a bit more drive. It's a little bit high for me. I'm just going to get this step ladder.
Chris has big boots to fill. Around here, few fishermen are as respected as his father.
When you go to other harbours and you know, you say, I'm Peter Blamey's son, the fishing community kind of know who he is, and I hope that one day I've got a reputation like his. At the moment, I'm fairly unknown. I'm just Peter Blamey's son, you know. But maybe one day. I couldn't have done anything like what I'm doing without him. The help he's given me, you need someone to show you what to do.
The passing down of a lifetime's knowledge is priceless, but Chris knows he'll face different challenges to his dad.
It's quite a tough, competitive environment to be successful in right now.
Whilst fish stocks are returning, there's not the abundance there once was.
There used to be so much fish, you couldn't really fail, but that's not really the case anymore.
Mevagissey is a village built on fish, pilchards in particular. Once, everyone was after them.
God, when I was a kid, you just went out and filled the boat up, that was it. It was before all the quotas and rules from Europe, you know, we could just go out. You just stayed out till the boat was full, which was every time you went out, apart from weather. I mean, weather was the only thing that stopped you, really. It was amazing, there was fish everywhere. Back in the old days, you know, the village was based around fishing. When you were at the quay, when I was a kid, there was 30 or 40 old-timers going there, still wearing the old black suits and hats and that. As a child, I knew 75% of the people in the village. Now it's the other way round. I know maybe 25% of the people in the village because it's just changed.
Now tourism is the main industry. The village is dominated by second homes and holiday lets. The place is all but empty in winter.
As it goes dark, if you look at like a street of houses, if there aren't many lights on, then there aren't any people living there.
9 o'clock at night, you could actually fire a shotgun down the main street and you wouldn't hurt anybody because there's no one there. The town's just empty.
I don't have a problem with people moving here and spending their time here, but I have a problem with people buying a house here and not living in it. That is an issue. It's damaging to the community, you know.
You know, the house prices inflate, and before we know it, we'll be driven out and the village will be full of non-local people. We don't really want to encourage that because it'll probably turn it into maybe somewhere like Padstow or something like that, and we don't really want that.
The spiralling house prices are causing problems for the fishermen.
It is hard to get crew, but youngsters can't afford to stay in the village, so a lot of them move away. So yeah, it is impacting on the crew.
Dave Warwick skippers the Valhalla, single-handed.
Well, I'm working the boat on my own at the minute, not really through choice, but just a lack of crew has forced me into doing it. I can't afford to tie the boat up until I find crew, so I'm going on my own, which is maybe not the safest at times.
The Valhalla is an otter trawler like Jack's, designed to be operated by at least 2 men.
That's it. That's us fishing. I'm very limited to how far afield I can go, how long I can stay out for. You know, you can only physically do what you can do on your own, so it's a bit limiting.
There's a shortage of crew nationwide, and with Mevagissi's expanding fishing fleet, what crew there is in high demand.
Time to get ready to haul. It is a dangerous job, and we all know that, and it can be cold, wet, miserable, dark. It's unpredictable. I can definitely see, you know, if you're clever at school and you like IT and you can sit in a warm office and play with a computer all day, why would you want to go and get rolled to death on a wet, cold, miserable fishing boat? I mean, it goes the other way. You could say, well, where would you rather be on a beautiful summer's day, watching the sunrise on a flat, calm day with the dolphins swimming alongside the boat? Yeah, what? Better than any office any day.
It's all right, it's just a bit skew whiff.
After 3 months fine-tuning the new boat, the Anne Louise is finally fishing.
It's been a huge risk, really. We put a lot of faith and a lot of money in Jack.
Jack's now ready to start repaying some of the investment made in him.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
But I'm over the moon with fishing now.
Yeah, I do. That's pretty good, I would say that.
Immediately, the boat hits problems.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Joking.
The net has come fast on the bottom.
Oh, dear me.
But Jack's got luck on his side, and the net works its way loose.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot worse, but then we're only 20 minutes in. We're bound to go wrong sooner or later, but it's Friday as well, which is a big no-no. Never start a new venture on a Friday, they say, but needs must and all that.
The first day's always going to be, you know, worrying. There's a lot running through your head, a serious amount. You just want to know that the boat's going to perform for you. Every little sound, every movement of the boat, you think, God, is this right, or is it sound all right?
To be out now is a bloody relief. The proof will be in the pudding in a minute, won't it? When we all up.
You just don't know what's going to happen. That's why you're so on edge.
Right, here we go.
Fingers crossed.
The grounds off Mevagissi are home to more than 30 different species, including prime fish such as turbot and Dover sole. But Jack's first haul is far less lucrative.
Not a lot there.
No.
Dogfish.
We call it Battersea Dog Zone.
That's about all that's in it.
Worth very little, they throw them back.
No, they're all survived, they're all alive. One or two nice cod there.
But that's a waste of bloody time, that is. Not very happy with that.
Well, if it weren't for those 4 cod, we'd be starving.
They weren't expecting miracles from the Anne Louise on her maiden outing, but the fish they've landed today have barely covered their costs.
Any skipper is under pressure. I mean, the name of the game is earning money, and to earn money, you've got to catch fish. And to catch fish, you're under pressure.
Off to work we go. Hi-ho.
Malcolm has 3 grown-up sons, but none of them has followed their father into fishing.
Archie, he's gone to a music college. He did go fishing with me, but I was worried about his hands. George, never interested in fishing, so he went off to become an engineer. My oldest one, Oliver, he did go fishing, but he got fed up with it, and he actually became an engineer. Oh, I'd like to think I was good at fishing, and it's just a shame there's no one to carry it on.
Spring signals the start of Malcolm's lobster potting season.
Today we will start to put the pots out.
Malcolm is 61 and has recently had a major heart operation, but Meva men find it hard to hang up their nets for good.
Right, this is my bait. This is my crab pot bait. Good God, stinks. It's the smell of money.
With no family around to help, Malcolm has begrudgingly taken on a deckhand.
On the end there, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it before on my own, but I can't do it now because I've had a heart operation. That's the only reason that Chris is with me.
Chris is relatively new to Meva and to fishing.
I have a degree in biosciences, but I don't use it now, really. I've been fishing with Mal for a couple of years now, I suppose. Helping, really. Or trying to help.
Being a nuisance.
Yeah, that's basically it, yeah.
He's a sorcerer's apprentice.
In the real world, he's the landlord and chef of the local pub.
Right, Chris.
Yeah.
You head for the White House now.
Yeah.
He's not a fisherman. He only does it because he needs the lobsters for his restaurant. If he stopped doing lobsters, you'd never see him on the boat again. Hooray! We're fishing. That's that. Leave it go for a few days. Home, James, and don't spare the horses.
Chris bought the King's Arms 4 years ago when he moved down from Bristol.
What's on the menu tonight, please?
We've got a whole lobster.
Right. How much are you doing the lobster from, please?
From 30.
30.
Yeah.
So they're big boys, aren't they?
Yeah.
Fillet steak.
Yeah, with shallots and brandy sauce, I think.
Oh, yes.
He's taken a traditional fisherman's pub, Malcolm's old local, a bit more upmarket.
The customers we get in here, they range, from all sorts. This is a public house, so there is no need to spend lots of money to socialise. You can come in and have a pint, or you can come in and buy a lobster and a bottle of wine. So yeah, it would kind of make it accessible to everyone. I've got these today. That's one large one. It's good to have the food there for tourists to experience. That's why they've come to Cornwall. Hopefully they've come to experience some seafood. And a nice traditional public house, which is what we are.
People don't drink like I used. When I was a kid, all you want to do is get to the pub, get to the pub. We live in a changing world. Everything changes. You've got to change with the times, or you should get left behind.
The King's Arms is not the only thing changing around here. In the old days, the fishermen would have lived and worked in the cottages and net lofts around the harbour. But now they are all holiday lets and gift shops for the visitors from up country. And the fishermen live at the top of the hill in the new builds.
The estate we live on is like affordable housing for local people. Yeah, we've got 6 fishermen live up here. Chris, Jess, Joe, Jess, me, Matt, Malcolm, Jack.
Yeah.
There's quite a percentage of fishermen up here, yeah.
Dave's originally from the northeast, but he married a local, Zoe, and they have a 6-year-old son.
If you wander around the estate, you'll see plenty bits of nets and pots and ropes and gear.
Yeah.
It's just a nice, especially in Meva, because there's so many holiday homes and second homes and holiday lets. The younger generation that would have at one time bought a little starter home, we've got no chance now. It's London prices, but we're not on London wages. So the houses are selling at London house prices and nobody can afford to buy them.
I think it's the people, the holidaymakers and that come here because it is a working fishing village.
Yeah, it's a quaint little village.
But it's not going to be a working fishing village if there's no fishermen here because they can't live here.
No.
The houses they built, I mean, some of them went for 750,000. I mean, what local person's going to afford that? They can't.
Concerned that locals are being priced out of the market, the parish council is trying to pass a bylaw to ensure that any new houses built would be for locals only.
In a small place like this, sometimes you've got to manage who gets to buy it, because otherwise the locals would be forced out, and that's difficult, you know.
The village has been asked to vote on it later in the summer.
Very warm today with plenty of sunshine, highs of 24 Celsius.
Some of Cornwall's loveliest beauty spots were reduced to traffic gridlock at the weekend after rave reviews on social media.
Oh, they think that the whole key's meant for them. They go, why are you driving here? Why? Why? And you can't say anything. You try to speak to them and explain that you actually live here and work here, but...
Mevagissey is buckling under the pressure.
They sit all along the edge of the quay here eating chips and ice creams, and then you get the walk in, you just can't get through.
This place was built before cars were invented. The narrow streets and steep hills might look nice, but it's a challenge if you need to get fish to market.
It is a nightmare trying to drive on here in the summer because of all the holiday makers, you know. They say cars shouldn't be allowed on here. And personally, I've fallen out of quite a few because I've got quite a fiery temper, but you can see, like, they just look at you.
For the fishermen, the annual invasion is sometimes hard to stomach, but tourism is vital to the village.
Tourism contributes a lot of money to the running of the harbour. And if they weren't here, it would be harder for Mevagissey to be sustainable. My partner works in a pasty shop. You know, like a lot of the fishermen, their partners have jobs related to the tourism industry, or members of their family do. You know, it's you can't be so focused on what you're doing. It's all about the wider community, and the community needs the tourism as well.
Right, mate? You know, I mustn't be anti-tourist, but I am. Hate it.
For Jack, the fishing around Meva has been poor for months. Under pressure to start paying back the debt on the boat, he's taking the Anne Louise further than she's ever been before in search of better fishing. It's a 2-day trip and there's bad weather forecast, but he's willing to risk it.
As a skipper, you've got to gamble on your life and someone else's life and all the elements just to make a living. And unfortunately, that's the way it is.
This time, he's not got his dad, but new crew Dave.
You're always like looking for the best bit of ground, you know, you're always pushing the boundaries where you can go with the trawl. If you do push too hard, you can end up with a right pickle on your hands with gear, and it can become dangerous if the weather's bad, you know. So you've got to weigh that up.
Jack shot the net at 3 a.m. All he can do now is sit and wait.
What's going through your head is like, oh, have I made the right choice to come here? You know, we could steam all this way, get to grounds, haul up, and there'd be, well, you wouldn't even pay for your fuel, you know? You just don't know. It's such a gamble.
It's 8 a.m. and time to haul the net.
Looking all right at the minute.
Big bag. That's good haul.
Going to new waters has paid off. His first haul is full of quality fish.
That's what we're after, John Dory, pretty much, really. Yeah, that's a nice prime fish, that is. Dover sole. Got a few of them here, look. And lemons. Turbot. That's what you call prime fish.
Jack's on a roll. For the next tow, he decides to push on away from the mainland towards the Isles of Scilly.
We'll try and go up that track there. It's worth a go, isn't it? She's in a bit of a gambling mood. I am in a gambling mood today, yeah. 14 stone of small lemons. Happy gutted.
The next haul is good too, bringing in another 10 baskets of prime fish. Poor weather is on the way, and time is running out to get into the cities before low tide.
It's worth a go, anyway.
But with the fishing good, Jack decides to squeeze in one more tow.
Hang on.
As he approaches the shallows around the Isles of Scilly, he realises he may have pushed his luck too far.
I've never done this route. This say you got crowbar there. That's a bit of a sandbar, and you know, it's... Well, I'm a bit nervous about this.
He's heading for the harbour on the island of St Mary's, but the tide is dropping fast.
My mate Neil, he said, because he lives here, he said, don't push any more than 7:30 tonight, and we're 8 o'clock, so... It's just this bit here I'm worried about. So there's more shipwrecks here than anywhere else in the UK, you know, like, together. We'd go to, like, one, and then we're in the ship. Bit shallow, is it? Going up now. 1.4 a minute ago. Still dodgy.
It's tight, but they squeeze through.
3.5 now. Yeah, it's safer. It's getting deeper here by the time now. That's as low as we ever want to go.
Back in Meva, Chris Blamey is also changing his tactics to get ahead.
There's plenty of fishing boats that have failed because they haven't had the right sort of combination of luck and strategy. Just a small amount of changing where the nets are, or changing the design of the nets, things like that, can make quite a big impact. You know, you can't be successful by just doing the same thing throughout the year anymore. You could once maybe, but those days are over.
The Blamies are off wreck netting. Their target, a shipwreck somewhere in the channel, home to lucrative white fish.
Between our coastline and France, there's hundreds of shipwrecks. A lot of them date from the First and Second World Wars. They serve as a bit of like a marine reserve, you could say. Fish congregate on them. My dad was the first one to find a lot of the wrecks off Mevagissey. He used to draw on charts where he had good fishing, and there aren't that many people who've actually done it successfully.
Chris, like his father before him, is a shrewd operator.
Other boats will be trying to put their nets in the same place that we will, and I want to beat them there so I can put my nets there first.
Wreck netting from Meva is highly competitive and highly secretive.
I don't want to give away any information to the opposition, so I can't really take you with me. Right, Fred, sling your hook.
It's important to kind of protect your trade secrets. It's the same as any business, you know. I don't necessarily want people knowing which wrecks I had the fish on. I don't want them knowing how our gear is laid out, how we shoot the gear with the tide and stuff, because that can be quite difficult to get right, you know. It's all fairly secret, you know.
That first day was good, and then obviously we got stuck in the islands for the night. It's kind of half a day today, you know. It's all been a bit messed up, but you're never going to make time up, but you just got to make the most of the time you've got, if you know what I mean. You know, that fish will be on Monday's market then, and that's a good start for next week.
Jack heads back for the mainland, netting more fish on the way. By the time it reaches Newlyn, the Anne Louise has got the best part of 7 grand's worth of fish in the hold.
It's been a risky trip, this one, isn't it? No reward without risk, yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm one of those that's willing to risk it.
Obviously, the harder you work, the better the returns. You know, and if you're young and you want a house and you want a car and you want holidays, you obviously push it. I mean, when you reach my age, I'm 61 and I've been there, done it.
Malcolm has seen some of the best fishing Cornwall has ever had.
These are boats I've worked on. This is a boat called Silver Harvester from Northern Ireland.
His generation profited from boats getting bigger and more efficient.
And there's a net full of pilchards. Any fisherman would tell you it's just beautiful to watch the nets coming up full of fish.
The peak of his career was skippering the Admiral Blake, a Newlyn beam trawler with a crew of 5.
I know the best week I did on that boat was 36,000 quid.
Meva and other Cornish ports thrived on the abundance of fish.
I said to the wife, I said, I'll do this for 3 or 4 years, make 250,000 pounds, retire, that'll be that. Happy days, yeah, it's all happy days. But you get obsessed with it, you just want to make more money all the time. No good.
Fish stocks diminished, and so did the fortunes of many coastal communities.
Mevagissey was on its knees at one point. You know, they just wanted the fish. Loads of people left the business.
For many fishermen like Malcolm, the craving for big money came at a price.
The hardness of beam trawling is the fact that you're away from home too much, you know, and as happens with most people at sea, you know, they end up divorced because your wife gets fed up with it. She's home on her own all the time, then you end up getting divorced anyway. So then you think at the end of it, well, I made all that money, was it worth it? I brought the kids up. When my wife left, they stayed with me. They wanted to stay with me. So that was what brought my end to the big boats. After years of being at sea, it was just nice to be home and spend time with the kids.
Another Cornish coastal community is following St Ives in a bid to stop too many properties becoming second homes.
To the growing number of communities in Devon and Cornwall that are taking action to stop second home owners buying new build properties.
Mevagissey goes to the polls today to vote on the building of second homes in the village.
It was just a yes-no vote, whether or not you supported the parish council's neighbourhood development plan.
In Cornwall, the town of Mevagissey, there the average property costs a staggering £300,000 with an average wage of £15,000.
It's quite important to the fishing industry that the fishermen are able to live somewhere nearby. Otherwise, it's really challenging for them to be able to do their jobs. So, yes, I did support it.
Now, do you live in one of Cornwall's second home hotspots? Because Mevagissey has become the 5th place in the county to adopt a policy in its neighbourhood housing plan.
A holiday home is taking a home away from someone who could live in it full time, isn't it? And I voted to support it.
90% of those who took part in the poll voted in favour of the idea.
I wasn't in much doubt, to be honest.
You must build stuff which locals can afford. And that's what they did, so it was good. I mean, yeah, if you don't, there's going to be nobody in the village.
Despite the changing face of the village, there's one event during the busy summer months that has stood the test of time. For over 250 years, Meva's Feast Week has traditionally marked the arrival of pilchards in local waters.
I think it's very important for these local traditions to carry on. It all brings the village together, and this is what you need.
It gets really busy, but it's all the locals at the heart of it enjoying it, and you do sort of reclaim the streets a bit, and, you know, it's ours for a day, and if you want to come and join in, you're welcome, but it's still ours.
The main event is a trawler race and the chance for skippers to settle some scores out at sea.
I do feel proud, like all our mates, they all feel proud to be part of the Mevagissey fleet at the minute because it's on the up and it's the most modern fleet Mevagissey's ever had.
The boat builder here, John Moore, I was talking to him about everything and he said you can go wherever you like in the world, boy, but you'll never find a place better than Mevagissey. And that comment just kind of stayed with me and I mulled it over quite a while, and I kind of realised he was right, so I decided to stay, you know.
Summer's over and the village is quiet again.
Oh yeah, now for me it's brilliant. Now the school's started, all the tourists go, the emmets as we call them, when they all return back home and we get the village back, it's brilliant. Yeah, good.
The changing seasons brings a change in opportunities.
That's good, that's tight. This one here is awkward. This one almost fits.
Chris is switching tactics. There's a new target.
Well, we're totally changing our fishing method from gill netting to ring netting. So we've got to change the hydraulic equipment on the deck, change the fishing gear over.
Chris's new nets are to target sardines. The fish stocks that built this village are back.
One of the key jobs throughout the history of the village was catching sardines. The reason why Mevagissey exists is because the sardines come into Mevagissey Bay to spawn. Many of the old buildings in the village were used to process sardines. They were salted and exported to Spain and Italy. The whole village is there. Its fundamental reason why it exists is because of the sardine fishing. But it died away a bit.
They were once known as pilchards, and Meva canned them in their millions. But stocks were hammered, and the pilchard went out of fashion. Now they're back, sold fresh, rebranded as Cornish sardines. It's a lucrative new fishery. Sardines aren't the only new fishery.
We'll leave this on our marquee to dry out.
Jack's after cuttlefish. Once cuttles weren't worth touching, but now fetch such high prices they're known as black gold.
I was just going to pull it tight a little bit.
The fishing has been poor since the Scillies trip 3 months ago, and the financial pressure of the new boat is building.
Fishing's gone slack where we have been working, so we're just going to go up there and, you know, hopefully while we're up there it'll come on good again. We'll see.
If you're an owner skipper, the onus is on you, isn't it? If you owe money to the bank, then if you don't pay the money back, then the bank are going to be on your back.
Dave was hoping to head to Brixham too, but his search for crew has come to nothing. So his cuttle net is going back in store for the time being.
If someone suitable turned up on the quay tomorrow and said, oh, I'm looking for a job, I'd take them on straight away. But you just don't know what's around the corner, do you? For a decent crew on a reasonable boat, yeah, the prospects are good. They can earn good money, probably above what the average wage would be in Cornwall. I don't know. I don't think it appeals to people like it used to.
The Anne Louise has steamed 12 hours east up the channel. Jack's hoping he's now in prime cuttlefish territory. Dave Warwick might not be here, but it seems every other fisherman is.
There's boats all over. There's boats from Meva, Plymouth, Loo, Southern Island, Northern Island. Oh, it's going to be carnage here in a minute. It's not good. It puts a lot of pressure on the ground, you know. There's not a lot of room. It's about 15 boats here within 5 miles.
A few good hauls here could salvage his season.
Not looking that good, is it?
The first haul is not what Jack was hoping for.
Oh, I can't understand that. Had a clean toe all the way down. A bit of everything, but not a lot of something, if you know what I mean. That's what we're targeting, look. They call it black gold. That's probably worth a £5 of that fish.
The blacker you are, the more happy you are.
Yeah. When it's messy, you know you're making money, but... Yeah, not very happy. For at least half what I was expecting.
After a poor first haul, Jack needs to find richer fishing grounds. Chris Blamey is heading out in search of sardines.
Yeah.
But you don't catch sardines, you hunt them.
So the sonar is like an underwater radar. You've got like a rotating beam looking around under the boat around us for fish. So that's a really key bit of equipment. We can't really do the job without that, you know.
He only has about 2 hours. Once daylight arrives, the shoals will scatter.
Got anything out here?
There is a lump there.
I haven't had a dot yet. Okay.
Yeah, I got quite a lot here on the sonar. So that's a really big lump of fish there. Yeah, I don't want to mess up this shot, really. Right, are you guys sort of ready?
Chris has just one chance to shoot the net.
All right, go for it.
First quarter.
He needs to make a loop around the moving shoal before drawing the net closed.
So we're now pulling in the bottom of the net. We're pulling that towards the boat, like a drawstring bag. We're closing the bottom of it. The seagulls are quite excited. They think they can see the fish, you know. It's a good sign. With fishing, you've got to make calculated risks. You've got to weigh up whether the rewards, the potential and likely rewards, are worth the risks that you're taking. Okay, so that's closed off the bottom of the net. They can't really escape now. You can always put more effort into the equation, but you've got to try and maximise the returns that the effort brings back.
Jack's hoping his second effort will be rewarded. But this haul is even worse.
Waste of time. Eight boxes of cattle. Hey, we got the landing dues to come out of that. That's 160 quid. Then we've probably burned £200 worth of fuel. So that's, you know, so that's nearly £400 off the top. And then we got to settle up, me and the crew, you know, so not every day you get paid. We've had a tough year, really. Obviously, we didn't start going till nearly the end of February, it was. Oh! After refitting the boat, and we had bad weather then, a lot of the stress comes from, you know, the financial side. Like, we haven't had a good year at all. If you're financially stressed, it causes a lot of hassle, you know, in the family. But you just have to look past it and look happy.
Yeah, this year has been very hard. Harder than you could ever imagine, really. Yeah, I often think to myself, this just isn't worth it, but hopefully it will be in time.
Chris's net is full of sardines.
As we're pulling the net in, we're making the circle smaller and smaller and concentrating the fish into a smaller area. So ultimately, they'll end up just here right beside the boat, really, really densely packed.
But there's a last-minute problem. Chris has caught much more than his buyer needs.
Too much fish. I'm trying to help them escape a minute. We're aiming to catch one lorry load, about 15 tonne. And say there's like 30 tonne in there at the moment. I want 15 to escape now, otherwise it'll die, and it's really bad if it dies. I think we've let about the right amount of fish go.
Peter's boat is needed to help land some of the catch.
A full one of them is like 150 kilos, that kind of neighbourhood. Early bird gets the worm. I reckon we got about 13 tonne. So £250 a tonne. So 13 tonne is about £3,200, that kind of neighbourhood. It's good for a morning's work, definitely. Without the young people coming into the industry, it's not going to survive. So it's really important that we make them aware that there are opportunities here. There's a perception that you've got to go off and seek your fortune elsewhere, but the grass isn't always greener.
It's coming to the end of a long year for the fishermen of Mevagissey.
If I was sensible, I'd moor up and finish for the winter, but I'm not gonna, I know it. Because I do love catching fish, so I know I'll be out there again. The future of the fishing is out of my hands, mate. I'm 61, I've done my bit. The youngsters, they're on to a good number at the moment. They got lovely boats. And the fish is coming back. But to me, it's always on that knife edge of, is it going to be all right, is it not, you know? Hopefully the sensible ones will prevail and they will see the errors of what I've done and my generation, where we overfished it, and they'll make amends and they'll keep it going. But, you know, that borderline of making money and being greedy, it's a very difficult one, mate, very difficult.
Quick as you can, Will.
The hunt is on for Cornish sardines.
Come on, you bastards.
It's highly competitive.
Bigger the boat, bigger the balls, mate.
If you can catch them,
It'll take a miracle to get on these.
there's a fortune to be made.
Looking good.
Boys should take home over £1,000 each.
But how long can the good times last?
We could lose the market, so it's going to be a tricky 12 months.
If you would like to find out more about the UK's fishing industry and how it's changing, the Open University has produced a free poster. Order your copy by calling 0300 303 3827 or go to bbc.co.uk/fishing life and follow the links to the Open University.